But so many businesses just don't do it well. If they do it, they don't do it well for whatever reason. And it's unfortunate. And I think that's why sometimes businesses get that negative connotation to it in general with some of the things that we touched on today. But if you can do some of the things we mentioned, I know we mentioned a lot, we've been all over the place with this. All these things, doing it quickly, I think it's just really will help you excel in business and continue to grow in business.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the More Than a Side Hustle podcast, where we help 9-to-5ers create more impact, income, and influence outside their jobs. And hopefully today is no different. My name is Anthony.
I'm about to say, and I'm Janoka. So thank you for joining us. As usual, please make sure you're sharing, subscribing, letting other people know what's going on, writing a comment, keeping engaged with us.
Today, we're going to be talking about how to win in business, how to compete. We're going to be talking about a lot of business stuff today. We're going to talk about how to win in local service businesses and how to win in just general.
Because there's not a school that many of us go to, even if you have an MBA, many of us do not, that run a business. And we can use a refresher or some type of course to teach you how to run a business and maintain one. So before we get into that, I do want to jump into the review of the week. And this is from Tidini. Inspirational and life-changing is the name. Exciting. It's only been about 3 weeks since I first came across the Heart Dogs on IG, Instagram. And ever since, I have charted a life-changing path. In addition to learning from them on this podcast, I've also been learning from them via their Clean Business University and CBU community and sharing everything I learned from them with my wife, our daughters, and our friends. To me, this is the start of a generational shift. Wow. What a lovely review. Thank you very much, Tidini.
Yeah, that's something that we have to chop that up. We have to post that on the podcast page because this is why we created this show. This is why we create content. This is why we continue to do what we're doing, because let's say 1,000 people listen to the episode. Let's say just one person gets a gem, gets impact, and able to make a change in their life. Like, that's all we need. So appreciate you guys leaving those reviews. So if you could do so, if you find any information that's helpful for you by the end of this episode, please leave us a 5-star review. And
those that write reviews really just hits different because you took time out to go ahead and let us know how we've impacted you in any way, shape, or form. So really, really appreciate that.
All right, so let's get into it. We're gonna dive right in, man. So this episode is gonna help. This episode are things that we went through as well. So as new business owners, as new entrepreneurs, as new people who are just side hustling, your biggest thing is trying to figure out, all right, I understand the steps to do whatever they said to do, but then there's challenges that come that's not in those steps.
Right.
Because we could give you the blueprint. Like they said, they joined our Clean Business University community. We give you the blueprint, but there's going to be things that come up in your day-to-day that's just not in the blueprint.
Right. And so sometimes it feels like, maybe depending on how long you've been doing it, feels like, well, they should know that, or it's common sense, and some things are not. And some things are, don't get me wrong, when it comes to that. But we just want to highlight some of the differences of what a good business or what it should be looking like, or what you should be striving for. You may not get it right off the bat, but what you should be striving for. And what you can always think about is, how would I want to, if I was using these services, how would I want to feel about it? How would I want somebody to respond to me in regards to your business? So you think about that all the time. We always have that conversation of the Chick-fil-A that people always talk about. What is it they do that make you feel so special and it feels so good versus a Burger King or McDonald's? So little things like that, even if you're new in the business, I think you can model some of those things and kind of get a sense, if you will.
And it's not the what is it, have a good day or my pleasure. Like, that's cool, but that's not making me come.
Is that what they saying?
Yeah, they say when you say thank you, they say my pleasure. At Chick-fil-A.
Like,
that's cool, but that's not making me go and buy the sandwich.
It's just probably because you're a New Yorker, you don't respect that type of stuff.
No, it's not the lack of respect. It's just I don't care for it. Like, all right, give me my sandwich. It's always good. It comes the same. That's another thing too. It always comes the same way. So Consistent. It's the same. It's consistency. There you go. Okay, what's your thoughts on that?
McDonald's fries is consistent too, but the ice cream machine.
No, they're not.
When's the last time we had McDonald's? So we can't really say. But back in the day, their fries have been consistent. The ice cream machine
sometimes
is not.
Sometimes the fries are warm with the sea salt on it, and they're crispy. And sometimes they give you the BS fries, the BS fries. So the consistency, we're gonna start right there. So consistency is very important in your business, no matter who's delivering the experience, no matter who's doing what. Creating that consistent feel. And we talk about this when you're visiting Like, I was listening to another podcast and they talked about the differences between Airbnbs and hotels. And Airbnbs are fantastic when you want to stay long and you want to have the house experience, but
a group maybe.
But the hotels give you that consistency. You go to the Marriott in downtown, you go to Marriott in New York, LA.
Should be the same thing.
It's going to be the same experience across the board. You're not going to feel like this Marriott's better than another. No, you get that same consistent experience. So that's a lot of times too that we kind of miss out in business, creating that consistent in just different things.
So we want to hop into a recent situation where we had to use a local service business because we had a rabbit in our house.
A what?
You heard correctly. A rabbit, a bunny, whatever you want to call it, in our home for who knows how many days. Okay.
Can you give some
background? Yeah, I'm gonna give some background
and how this translates to business.
This translates to business. On a Friday, the nanny and Alani are outside doing chalk on the floor in the backyard. Blue was there. Blah blah blah. I don't know. I wasn't here. I was away. Not sure where the bunnies came from initially, but they came or they came around or something. Nanny runs inside, puts the baby down. Then she realized that Blue, our dog, has one of the bunnies in his mouth. And she's like trying to let him drop the bunny. And I guess it was a few of them. They probably were just born. There was a few of them. One ran, she closed the door, everything like that. She finally got him to drop the bunny. Apparently, and then the bunny ended up dying. He killed the bunny. This is our first, we're like, so when Tony is telling me this story, and I'm like, what size is this bunny? Because we've had bunnies. We've been here for now a year and a half plus, and our dog cannot catch these bunnies. They're very, very quick. They're like squirrels. As soon as they hear something, they're out. There's no way he can catch it. So that's where like, okay, it had to be a baby one. I don't know, whatever. So we're like, this is what happened. This is a Friday now. I came home now. I was away, like I said. I came home Monday. I came home Monday.
Speed the story up.
No, I came home Monday. So Friday to Monday, and Monday night we're sitting on the couch doing whatever. I hear patter, thinking it's the dog. Turn around in the kitchen. It's a friggin' bunny in the kitchen. It's 8, 9 something at night.
Now it's 9, closer to 10. So this is where I hop in now. So Janoka goes in the room. She's like, get that bunny out the house. It is now 9 o'clock, almost 10 o'clock at night. And this is where we talk about the business side of things. And in my mind, I'm like, there is no way that someone is going to be open and available to come get this bunny at 9 o'clock at night. And I said, the first one that's open is going to be able to say any price outside their mouth, and more than likely, I'm going to take it. So this is the importance, and you're going to be listening to a few gems as we go through this conversation. So I am going down the line. Pest control.
You tried to handle it first.
I tried to handle it at first, right?
Yeah.
I tried to get it out, and it was like, no way I was getting this thing out. It was like the bottom of the stove in the corner. I would have had to put my hand back there and grab it. It was not moving. It was so scared. It was very small. So one of the things was that after, I'll tell you guys the end of it, but it was good that I did call a company to come get them. So anyway, I'm going down the line. I'm Googling businesses in my area. I get rabbit removal in area. So rabbit removal in area. So now the first.
Did you Yelp or Google?
This is on Google.
Okay.
So it's going to show both actually. So this is the importance of having a website, having being ranked on Google, right? So
presence. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going down, and I'm not even looking for reviews of this, but I just want somebody. So I'm going down the line. I'm calling these numbers, and I call 10 numbers, 10, maybe 10. All of them said open 24 hours, but their phones are going to the call center who has to call someone else, and they're like, oh, we can't come out tonight. So why say you're open 24/7 if you actually cannot?
They're open to get the call.
They're open to get the call. They're trying to get the business. Yeah. But if I'm calling at 10 o'clock at night, I need something done tonight.
Yeah.
So number one, having a website. Number two, being open when you say you're actually open. So I'm going down the line. Some people say, oh, we can't do it. And I was like, well, your website says rabbit removal. I was like, well, it's actually pest removal, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. So I get to like number 10 or 11. The guy picks up the phone. He says, hey, I said, hey, I got a rabbit in my house. He asked me the basic questions. And he sounded like he knew exactly what he's talking about. He's asking about the rabbit, how long it's been there, where's it located? Do I think that he could get it? And I was like, yeah, I think he could get it because I just didn't have the tools to get it.
And he's not moving. It's not like
he's not moving. Yeah.
Place.
So he's like, all right, I'm asking you that. And he told me why he asked me, because if I come there and it runs around, it's gonna be a lot more difficult than me just coming in and grabbing it. I'm going to have to spend more time and I might not actually get it. So he's letting me know what may or may not happen based on what I'm telling him. He's asking the right questions. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. What's the price? What's the price? He gives me the price. I say done.
Get here now.
Get here. He said, oh, I'm about 40 minutes. He's about 40 minutes to an hour out. I said, okay, I will watch it, make sure it doesn't move, and I will, be ready when you are. He called, he texted, I'll text you when I'm en route. He texted me when he's en route.
He called too.
And he called. And he was there in like 30 minutes maybe.
He said he'll be here in 18. It felt like it was 10. He was there. Quicker.
Exactly. So he came and he picked up the phone. He got the job done as quickly and efficiently as possible, and I was able to pay that high premium price because he was able to resolve my problem.
I'm just laughing because it really was a bunny in our house. That sounds
so. Let's talk about some of the gems from that story. It was a lot of money too. You may say I would have picked it up or did it myself, but I'm not.
That's not
me. That's not us.
First of all, I'm thinking of it as a rat. Let's be very clear.
The rabbit, bunny,
I
squirrel.
know it's not, but it seems to be the same family that hops around and moves fast. Okay.
Yeah, they're all in the same family. So number one, having a website, having authority that said, all right, he was number 10 on Google, but I was able to call him and he picked up the phone, number 2. We talk about all the time people not picking up the phone. And as simple as it sounds, people don't pick up the phone.
And even if you don't pick up the phone, somebody leaves a voicemail, do you call back?
Yeah.
A lot of times people are like, oh, well, they probably moved on or they probably didn't. Like, why? I called for a reason. I'm looking for services. Why wouldn't you call back? Why wouldn't you answer if you have the availability to? We say that all the time. When we first got virtual assistants in our business, it was simply just to answer the phone. That's all we needed. We just need you to answer the phone because we're losing business by not being able to answer the phone. So if you are one of those people that you're like, well, I'll get back to it. I done moved on. If I'm calling, I'm probably calling 3 other people. So you didn't answer. Well, yeah, you didn't answer. I'm moving on. So making sure that you're answering the phone or at least responding back, sending an immediate text if you can't answer, something to communicate. I'll be right with you if I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's important to it. Just having that instant response. 5 minutes max. 10 minutes. Way too long.
You know the society we live in. Think about yourself. What is the response time that you require when you're calling around? Most of the time, people don't call. So if I'm calling somewhere, people are usually texting or sending an inquiry online. So if you're calling, you really want it done immediately.
And another thing, too, is that if you're able to solve someone's pain point as quickly as possible, they will probably pay a higher premium for it. Like especially in our cleaning business, we talk about same-day service. Someone's calling for a cleaning service the same day.
You could add on $50, $70 to that.
We used to do we could barely do same day now because we're so busy, but that's exactly why. If you were able to do same day service, now that makes you stand out from the competition. You could charge a premium. People have a pain point. Normally it's like, oh, I had some family coming to town or I got a party. I didn't think about cleaning up or I had an emergency or whatever. I don't have the time. So if you can solve that person's pain point quickly and efficiently as possible, you could charge a premium for that service. That's a big one.
What else did I think you mentioned? I mean, the fact that the person was knowledgeable helped you to feel comfortable he was going to come do his job with the questions that he was asking as well, right? Like, so we always speak about with the cleaning business, it's not that you need to know how to run a cleaning business, but we do teach you in the course to do competitors research. That's where you gain your knowledge. That's where you start to learn about what a deep clean is, what a move in move out is, what is included, what's not. So then you get to know what questions you should ask customers. Because then I start to feel like, okay, yeah, they definitely know what they're talking about. They're definitely a high premium service because they have all these things, right? Somebody else that I may call that just says like, oh, is it outside or inside? I'm like, what the hell are they asking me, right? So those things are important. You start from that first interaction is when your customer service or when your business starts with the person. For the first time they see your website, for the first time they answer the phone, that is the beginning before you even complete the service for them. So I think that's important to note too, because many people just focus on, well, we're just going to use what we do. Well, I did the clean good. Yeah, but from the beginning, things were kind of rocky. Like you double charge them first, and you did all these things that you were late. You put a bad taste in their mouth, and they no longer care that you did the cleaning well. That's like, okay, basic.
Yeah.
So
another funny, he finished the job in like 5 minutes. So he got that wrap. He put on a glove too. It was a glove that he uses for raccoons because he said, I don't know how big it is back there. I see it. But he was like, I wouldn't have want you to put your hand back there to get this rabbit out. No, he just said you never know. You just never know. He had the glove on that people use.
I don't
know.
The thick glove.
He was like, this glove, you like raccoons could try to bite through this glove. Like, so he used that glove. He's like, I wouldn't want you to. But he also made a couple $100 in like 5 minutes. And we had a conversation. We were just about business. Like ended up being there for like 15, 20 minutes. Junko was like, is he still here? I'm like, I'm left.
In the room, mind you. Once I saw that, I never came back out.
Yeah, you were like, I don't know what's going on back there.
I'm calling you like, is everything okay?
But he was done in a couple minutes, but the rest of the conversation was just about business. And we were just talking about how he started his business and how he grew it. He told me that he had like 9 trucks that were on the road tonight. It's 10 o'clock at night. I was like, you got 9 trucks? Like, yeah, we're all busy. And this is my cheapest service. This is like the minimum that I would do to come out.
Well, because he said they're picking up snakes and possums and that type of stuff. So that's a different beast. I get it.
Yeah, that's a completely different beast. So he said we got 9 trucks out. And if, let's say his minimum service is $500, like that's almost $5,000 that he's making a night.
A night.
Now, some services are more, some service but we know at least he's making $500 per, situation. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I talked to him about was, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna leave you an excellent review. He's like, yeah, I don't really focus on, reviews and stuff. And I was like, why not? He's like, because they just not a true reflection of my business. And I said, well, in a way they are. But I was like, you also didn't ask me for a review too. Mm-hmm. That's a big one people miss out on, asking for the review.
Especially when you know you did a good job. If someone's raving, someone's saying thank you, and somebody's like, why not ask for it? There's multiple excursions and things that we've been on in different countries and places or wineries, and they literally say, can you leave us a review? Or they give you the, the QR scanning thing, mm-hmm. so it takes you straight to wherever to leave them a review because... where do we touch on this? I think in our community, most of the times people are quick to leave a review when it's negative. You don't leave the review when it's positive. And I'm talking to you that's listening. Okay. How many times are you leaving a review when you're having a positive experience? But once it's negative, baby, you be quick to it.
Amen.
So
right on it.
I actually use that for myself because I don't leave reviews at all. And so when there's times when I'm like, I need to leave a review, I just don't. Because I'm just like, it's not fair because I wouldn't do it if it was a positive experience. So maybe you could check yourself that way too.
Listen, think about that. If you own, how would you want to be treated? Like, I know experiences can be bad and it does happen. Mm-hmm. Think about this as you being a business owner. If we're going to talk about this in another segment too, but you as a business owner, you as a person, how would you want to be treated? You had a bad experience, but you had 10 good experiences before that. The only one that's going to leave the review is that one that had the bad experience.
Yeah. I think about that a lot, and so that's why I'm just like, it ain't fair to do it.
So I went on his their Yelp profile. He had some decent Google reviews. It was all right, but Yelp was like terrible, terrible, and they were just bad. And I was like, yo, fam, like you got to go and respond to these reviews.
But some of the, and maybe they've learned from it because you said most of the reviews said that they weren't able to do the job, like finish the job, right? And so remember you said at the beginning, the person was asking you questions of where is it, blah, blah, because we may not be able to catch it. So maybe they've changed their language to start telling people like, hey, yeah, we're going to come out, but there's no guarantee. If this thing is moving like, or if it's attacking or whatever, we may not be able to get it. So maybe that played into it. I don't know, but...
So that also goes into another one, setting expectations up front. Mm-hmm. Like let's say we had a huge mega mansion and we had a bat in here or something. Oh, let's keep it the rabbit. And the minimum, let's say the minimum was like $500, right? And he said, that's just a minimum for me to come out there to check it out. Now, let's say this rabbit is running around the mega mansion. He's chasing it.
For 2 hours.
I wouldn't expect the same price. I wouldn't expect to pay $500 if now he's chasing this rabbit around the house for hours. You would say, oh, he's a trained professional. He should know what he's doing to catch this rabbit. Yes and no.
But animals are animals. We all know they're not.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like it's going to go in a straight line or anything like that. Where I could, So that's what I think setting those expectations up front as a business would be extremely helpful. And we learned that in business too. We learned that even with certain types of cleanings, we had to say, all right, let's say same day, for example. We talked about same day. We let them know now, we know that you need this cleaning service same day. We can't guarantee that we'll get someone out there same day, but let's get you on the books. And what happens now is, now that you're on the books, the booking goes out to our entire team, and they could choose if they want to grab it or move some other cleanings around. We give them that option. Now, let's say within 30 minutes, they don't get back to me or we don't see that booking accepted, we will call you and let you know that we cannot get you out there today. Because what we used to do was we used to say, all right, we're going to book you. We'll try to get you in like 2 hours, an hour and a half later. Oh, yeah, we can't come out.
Right.
So now we try to, and now those expectations, people really don't care sometimes. They may say, oh, I didn't know that or whatever, blah,
that
blah.
wasn't clear.
But at least we know we set those expectations up front that we're going to try. Here's the next steps. And if that does not happen, here's what we're going to do and follow up with.
Same thing with cleanings that we consider to be heavy duty and stuff. You know, we ask for pictures, we ask for certain things. We're like, we're giving you this price based on what you've shown us. And when we arrive, if this is a little different, if this is more than what expected, we'll discuss with you then to see if you want to move forward. So I think that that's extremely important. And that comes with business, with time, setting those expectations. So maybe with this company, they realize we need to start putting this in our language. So,
yeah. And last one on this note is just like, don't cancel on people too. I know it's hard sometimes, but canceling on people sucks, man.
We've done that before, though.
We've done it before, and it
just
sucks.
Starting out in the business.
One thing I would say, if you have to cancel on someone, try to give them an incentive to come back.
Yeah.
Don't just say I can't get you in today. I can't do this service or whatever. I was trying to book something for someone. I don't want to put too much information out there, and they text me saying that, oh yeah, we got to cancel on you. I was like, fam, this person is flying, driving in.
And you booked it a little further out.
Yeah, this person's driving in so that we could do this one thing, and you saying that we can't do it. So luckily enough that I'm thinking outside the box and we made it happen. But if you're going to cancel on someone, I would say try to make it worth their while to come back.
Yeah.
Give them an incentive to come back.
Like, okay, I can't do it today, but I can do it this day, or can't do it today, but next service will give you $50, $40 off, something along those lines to make them come back. Some people understand that things happen and are humans, and some people won't. But at least still offer it. That's the biggest thing. Making sure that you're offering it is important.
Yeah. So we had a lot of experiences this week, man. And then you want to talk about the tour?
That rabbit, man.
That rabbit was a big one.
So every now in the kitchen, I'm like.
So there's a lot of gems just from business that we got from just that experience, and we figured we wanted to share that part of it. But then other part, we had a tour that we went to.
Yeah, we went on.
And there were some gems there too.
Go ahead.
We want to start with.
Go ahead, you started it.
So we toured 2 locations, right? And we said that these are 2 prime examples of what to do in business and what not to do.
So remember when we spoke about that, the first time somebody speaks to you, the first time somebody sees your website is the beginning of the customer service journey. The first time I walk in your door is the beginning as well, right? So, Target, you walk in, you got Starbucks to the left and you got shopping carts to the right. You're getting your experience, you know what I mean? Things are building. You're like, okay, which one do I need first, right? These locations, one of them, people meet us and they're bubbly. Other time, people meet us and they're chaotic. And we're like, okay, let's just see how this goes. But from the beginning, right, I wish you would have changed my mind. But before I even fully stepped into your location, I made up my mind of how things were going to go. And I was hoping that I was wrong, and I wasn't. And I wasn't, right?
So imagine if you walk into a location, and let's say you walk into a hotel, and the bellhop drops your bags. He's trying to figure out, what room did they assign you to? And he looks like he's struggling to get the bags up to the room.
Go find out from the front desk.
He's struggling to get the bags up. The valet service is like, oh, we don't got no room. Like you're already like, what's happening here? So in your mind, you're already set up. You're like, this is going to be a bad experience.
Yeah.
So starting on the right foot is very important.
Basically. Then your appearance when it comes to that, and I would say appearance when it comes to your website as well. Is it easy to navigate? Is the information digestible? A lot of times people say, I think about this as a therapist, like when we write clinical notes, you need to write it at a 6th grade level, basically, because you don't know where people are when they're reading and stuff like that. So same thing when you have your website out, it shouldn't be anything that somebody's like, what is this? That they have to go check somewhere else. Is the pricing clear? Is everything clear? So same thing with the location. What does it look like? What is the appearance? Is it feel dark? Is it bright and bubbly? The energy, all those things I think play into, all those things play into how someone starts to experience your business, your product, what it is, whatever your location, whatever it is that you have going on. So that's all I have to say about that. I don't know if you have anything else.
We toured these 2 locations, and one location felt like a temple. It was calm. I'm going to give you guys a walkthrough. Make sure you listen in real close. I'm going to give you guys a walkthrough. It was calm. It was serene. Imagine if you walk into like a yoga studio and you just saying it and you're just like, oh, this is just nice. This is nice. The energy is good. The feng shui is good. Everything seems to be in line and order. The functionality of the place, the layout is good. And you're like, oh, I can see myself being here. And then imagine if you go to the other location and you walk and it's yeah. Like that was like the energy I felt. It was just complete opposite of
opposites, yeah.
Literally complete opposite. It was loud. It was chaotic. The people who greeted us at the front desk didn't know what the hell they were doing. They forced one lady to do the tour, and the other lady was like, "You gonna do the tour?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do the tour." And it was like they're arguing with each other. And then the lady that wasn't doing the tour kind of was like, "I'm going to do the tour," and kind of pushed the other lady out the way.
It was a mess. It's like, why would you do this in front of customers?
So, guys, you gotta make sure your experience, no matter what it is try to make it at least calm from the very beginning.
Even if it's not, like, nobody needs to know that. Remember, like when you do shows and stuff like that, they'd be like, nobody knows that you messed up besides your face. Besides your face. Nobody knows watching. So keep going. Keep having that face on. But one thing I do want to say is that sometimes businesses do mess up, right? So we're not saying that all business or even our business is perfect. But
it's not. Go check. No,
how do you take accountability when you do mess up? Now, there's going to just be some people that you can't please everyone. That's also life. We understand that as well. But if there's things that you did wrong, or if someone is complaining about something, what do you do in your business to kind of reflect and see, wow, okay, this is what we did wrong. This is what we could do better, and we'll change that next time. I think that's just as important for people, because a lot of times people are like, oh, well, this person just said that. But maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe there is something that you did wrong. And a lot of times when we get negative reviews, we always try to go through the entire process. Like, what was the first call that they received? Like, when they first called in, what was that conversation? And, okay, they got the emails. And did we arrive on time? And did we take a break while we were there? Like, so many things we're just trying to figure out. Where did we go wrong? If
was the breakdown?
Anything. What was the breakdown? And honestly, 80% of the time, there is something that we did wrong that we could have changed and done better for. And we will say like, okay, well, this is where our contractor did wrong. And this is why this person is upset. We can kind of get it. But making sure you do that for your business is important. Taking accountability.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
I mean, as an adult. But.
We just had this example recently, and we were sitting down with our operations manager, and she was like, well, this person is unreasonable, blah, 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 blah. We said, granted, yes, they're completely unreasonable, but what can we learn from the situation? Is it worth the headache that we're going through right now to be having this conversation 2 weeks after the occurrence happened? And I said, absolutely not. It's not worth my time. It's not worth Janoka's time. It's not worth your time. It's not worth our client's time. It's not worth the cleaner's time. I said, look how much time we're dedicating to, and we're talking about this on the podcast 2 weeks later. and it's still on the top of my mind. So when you think about how did things go wrong, sometimes it's just better to just take accountability and just put the blame on yourself. 100%. Like, you know what? We messed up. How can we move forward? What can we do to make you happy? And sometimes, like Janoka said, you may get those clients who are absolutely unreasonable, but then you may get those clients that's like, you know what? We both messed up. And you're lucky if you get those clients, because everybody's not going to be like that.
Most adults are not like that. You're probably not like that.
Most people are not going to be like, you know what, we both messed up. I could have done. We do get clients like that where they're like, you know what, I didn't read the website. I didn't check the emails. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't check the emails. I didn't know it was an arrival window. I just thought she was gonna arrive at 8, not between 8:05 and 8:10. So, but you get those clients sometimes, but most of the time you will not. And it's important to make sure you understand that sometimes you have to just take ownership as a business owner. And that's important too.
So speaking along those lines, I think along the lines of taking accountability of things, if you're getting feedback, is also like meeting deadlines and doing what you say you will do. You mentioned that when you said, why would you say you 24 hours and you not?
Oh, man.
And I'm like, well, there are 24 hours to answer the phone, but maybe not to do the exact service. So us being in this business, we've dealt with local service businesses, not just like with cleaners or a lawnmower or any people that do the lawn, handyman, stuff
laundry.
like that. But also just within our businesses, we have people that do copyright. We have people who do ads. We have so many different companies that we've worked with throughout our journey in the last 4 years and stuff. And a lot of times and we have this discussion with ourselves all the time. We're like, is it us? Because a lot of times people are just not meeting deadlines and then not communicating that they're not meeting the deadline. I'm like, there's no way I could be at work and my manager say, hey, you need to have this by Friday at 12 p.m. and it's Friday at 4 p.m. and I'm like not saying a word. And she has to come to me and say, well, where's the work? It doesn't work that way, right? But a lot of people that we've worked with, and I don't know if there'll be a local service business, but they're a smaller business, I guess. Big ones too. Big ones too. Don't meet deadlines and just don't have any communication about it. And I'm like, that's just not how you run business. We understand that life happens and things happen, but let's be very clear, it's a business. Frankly, I can be nice and say like, yeah, okay, you had to do something real quick, but you still need to communicate that. I think that's the biggest issue that we always have is like, people don't say things. And I'm like, we start to ask ourselves, is it because, some people say, oh, well, some people don't like conflict. Don't be in business. Or find someone that's going to be able to communicate it for you because there's going to be conflict in business. Let's be very clear, right? Or I just don't feel like every communication has to be conflict, but do what you say you're going to do, meet those deadlines, and if you cannot, just communicate that. More than likely, the person is going to be understandable. We're both in this space of entrepreneurship. We're both in the space of knowing that everything doesn't go the way that it can all the time or that you would like it to be all the time. But I do expect that I'm going to communicate something to you guys if I can't do it. If I book a community call with our community and we can't show up, I ain't just going to not show up and have people respond to like, oh, hey, where are you guys? Right? I said I'll be there, so I should be there. Or if I'm not, I should communicate I'm not going to be there and maybe another date. So that's something that we face with a lot of different vendors, I guess, that we've worked with of just not meeting deadlines and just not communicating correctly.
Yeah. And we said, and we're going back to the beginning where we said the guy that was doing the rabbit situation for us, he asked questions to set those expectations up front.
Expectations.
And we try to set expectations up front. Like we're big on communication. Even in our business on the digital side, but then even on the cleaning business side, we always ask our operations manager, like you said, we were going to be late. Did we let the client know we were going to be late? Did they know that we were going to be, and if we were, did we let them know by how much we were going to be late? And did we try to compensate them? Did we try to keep them up to date? Or did we just say we're going to be late and then showed up outside the arrival window?
We used to do it with our cleaners too.
Yeah, with the cleaners too. If you're going to be late, you need to let us know when you're going to be late. Let the client know you're going to be late because at the end of the day, communication is the only thing that you can control. Right. You can't control the traffic. You can't control your car breaking down. You can't control
Wi-Fi not working.
You can't control emails not going out, but you can control your communication. So if you are in business, your goal is to be communicating with your clients, especially when things are not going to be on time. That is a big one, and that's the biggest cause of frustrations in most, just in life. Even let's talk about relationships for a little bit.
Literally.
If your relationship is not going good,
say something.
Say something.
Why are you not saying nothing 3 years later?
You like, damn, this ain't going well. It's like, wait, where did this come from? Right, no, we're letting you know when things are not going well in business. We're gonna let you. We're the type of people that's gonna let you know when it's not going well. Hey,
and it doesn't have to be in a nasty way either. No, right? It's just a professional thing to do.
We're gonna let you know very, very professional. Like, hey, you said you're gonna meet this deadline and you missed it. How can we make sure we get you there next time? We literally just had this conversation with someone recently. It was like, this deadline was going to happen. You didn't understand expectations, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. We'll make sure we know going forward what the expectations are. But then on your side, if you knew you had this deadline, just let us know. You didn't understand what the expected items were. That's communication on both sides.
And then the communication, we also like to say, like, is there anything you're missing from us? Knowing goddamn well ain't nothing you missing from me because I submitted everything. But I'm going to ask, like, maybe there's something you're missing from me that was holding you up. But I think that I don't know that piece. I see a lot of times, and I just like, to me, that is a basic life thing. I don't even know if it's just business. It's a basic life thing of communicating anything, or, I don't got my homework because, it's a basic life expectation, but so many businesses just don't do it well. If they do it, they don't do it well for whatever reason. And it's unfortunate. And I think that's why sometimes, businesses get that negative connotation to it in general with some of the things that we touched on today. But if you can do some of the things we mentioned, I know we mentioned a lot, we've been all over the place with this. Answering the phone or responding quickly, meeting deadlines, taking accountability, asking for the review, understanding that your website or your location, as soon as they hear from you, is their first impression of you. All these things, doing it quickly, I think it's not basic life, but just really will help you excel in business and continue to grow in business. What else?
I would say even this is not even, now as we're talking through, this is not even just business advice. This is just life advice. Like greeting, how you greet people when they first meet you. How do you greet people when they first meet you? How do you make them feel? Go ahead. You distracted me. I went to a meetup recently in Houston. And I went in there with the intention of people feeling like they could vibe with me in person. I wasn't trying to be fake. I was like, all right, I want to make sure that people don't feel like I'm standoffish. Because sometimes I don't think I could be standoffish, but I'm very introverted. I am a forced extrovert. You got to know your personality traits. I am forced because this is my job. This is what I did for 15 years. I had to be a director. I had to be a leader. And I had to be in front of people. So I was a forced extrovert, but my natural internal characteristic personality is introvert. So sometimes I can be standoffish, but I went in this room with the intention of people feeling warm when I greeted them. That was my intention. How did I come off when I met people? Did I say, oh, no, link me on this? As I know, here's my phone number. Here's my Instagram, shoot me a DM. Here's my direct email.
You love that, shoot a DM, child. I feel like don't DM.
These are things that not is only important for business, but important for just life as well. But I think we touched on a lot, but this is how you can win in business. A lot of this stuff may seem like common sense, but people are not doing it.
Yeah. Trust me. It's so common, people will be doing. Common sense is not common. You know that phrase. And some of these businesses, I said, how are they still in business? But thank you so much for listening to us again. Make sure you're tuning in every single Tuesday. We drop an episode every single Tuesday. By the end of this year, we'd have done 2 years straight of dropping an episode every single Tuesday. And some weeks we actually did multiple. But make sure you're commenting, subscribing, sharing, leaving us a review, as we just spoke about. We appreciate you guys tuning in always.
Ask for what you want. We are asking for the review. With a comment, let us know what you thought about the episode. And we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Take care.